Hi there, I'm Lily, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is the final video in my little series for my any day vest pattern techniques, in which I'm going to show you how to work a tubular bind off. So this would be used around the neckband and the armbands, and of course is a really useful technique for binding off on any pattern. I use it anytime that I work 1x1 rib. I found once I started using this method I did not want to go back to just a regular bind off because it's so stretchy, so neat, and it just finishes an edge nicely. So this is a sewn bind off using a darning needle. So you want to cut your yarn with at least 3 times the length that you will need for the cast off. I always add a little bit more just because I'd rather have too much than too little. So I shall thread my needle. And we have a knit stitch here at the beginning of the round. So if you've worked a Kitchener stitch or grafting or whatever you want to call it, it's kind of similar to that, but almost like you're grafting a piece of fabric to itself. So our first action will be to bring this yarn through this first knit stitch purlwise. So we're just going to go purlwise and leave it on the needle, don't take that anywhere yet. And then the only fiddly action in this bind off is the next stitch. So we're going to need to bring our darning needle through to the front between the first and second stitches, and then we're going to insert it through this second stitch knitwise and pull that through, again leaving it, leaving it on the needle. And now we begin the section that we will repeat. So we go knitwise through this first stitch and slip it off the needle, then purlwise through the second stitch and leave it on. Draw the yarn through. Apologies for the noise outside. And then the next action we go purlwise through the first stitch and then knitwise through the second stitch on the needle. Again, tighten that, pull it through. So we repeat knitwise off, purlwise and leave it on. Then purlwise off, knitwise on. I'll repeat that a few times more. So we have knitwise off, skip one, and purlwise on into the second stitch, pull that through, purlwise off, first stitch, round the back and knitwise on into the second stitch, pull that through, make sure your loop of yarn doesn't get caught on the needle, and repeat. So it's basically knit off, purl on, purl off, knit on. If you say that to yourself it'll probably help. Knit off, purl on, purl off, knit on. And I shall repeat to the end. So repeat until you have 2 stitches left on the needle. Whether they are a purl then a knit or a knit then a purl will depend on how many stitches you had in the first place, but then obviously we can't complete our full action at the end because we don't have enough stitches. So I'm just going to slip this one purlwise off because it's a purl stitch, then knitwise off for the knit stitch, and pull the yarn through both to fasten off, and then I'll weave that end in securely. So it kind of wants to slant a bit there. It doesn't look as straight, but if you just kind of tug it around, there we go, we have a much straighter edge that mimics the tubular cast on here. I worked that, sorry, did that in a different video. So we have our tubular cast on. I then worked a bit of stocking stitch with some decreases here. There are videos for those. Picked up along this edge and then worked in this direction to have a tubular bind off there, which is very stretchy. So hopefully that tutorial was helpful. Thanks for watching.